Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Shayne Smith!
Thank you! Goodness gracious. How's it going, everybody? All right. Oh, you guys are wild. This is good. Let's get right into it, huh? It's 2019, and my look is less ideal than ever. It's real. Here's the deal. I am a Jewish man, but I look like an accountant for the Aryan Brotherhood. And I know that. It's not good. I didn't do it on purpose, but I do. I look like the nerdiest guy in the worst prison gang. It's a problem. It's a serious problem. They're just like, he doesn't kill people. He does read a lot, though. He does. Oh, man. It's fine, though. People are wild. They surprise me all the time with how wild they are. Recently, I was in a shoe store, and I was just looking at shoes, and a dude comes up to me, and he goes, "Oh, your face. That's crazy. I can't believe you did that." And then he goes, "Dude, so what are you, like a tattoo artist?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm not good at art." And he goes, "So just no job?" There's no other options? So I can do work. He's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, technically no job." But still, come on, man. And then he goes, "Well, if you need any help with anything, you let me know." I was like, "You work here?" So disrespectful. People are crazy disrespectful. I live in New York. Dudes, this is a thing that is happening often. Dudes who want to get my attention in public, they will combine what they think I look like with prison and yell it at me. The other day, a guy was like, "Hey, you." And I was like, and he goes, "Yeah, you, Harry Potter, but make it prison. Come over here." It's like, what? I'll come over, but I didn't like that. Yeah, this is true. The other day I was sitting on the subway. I'm sitting minding my own business. This guy's scooting past me. He looks up at me and he stops and he goes, "Hey, Jim from The Office did 10 years in prison. Look at you." Like, that one was accurate. Like, come on, man, I'm trying to grow my hair out. Let me live my life. People on the train were laughing. He was killing. And he goes, "Oh, so Pam left and you just snapped, huh?" Like, he has follow-ups. Come on. Yeah, just going hard. I've been doing this, which I shouldn't do. I've been reading comments on my videos online. What a nightmare online is, just in general. This is real. I've been noticing this in comments. This is a new thing, a new trend I've been noticing. People, usually older people, will be annoyed with my tattoos. Now, this is completely new. They will see me and then be like, "Ugh, I remember when having your face or your throat tattooed meant that you were a criminal. It meant that you were dangerous. Now it just means you're a hipster." And I'm just like, are you disappointed I'm not a murderer right now? What is happening? It's like you assume, firstly, you're making assumptions about who I am based on how I look, and then when I don't live up to them, you're like, it makes no sense. I'm furious. I cannot win with these people. And then what's even crazier is that I happen to have gang tattoos on my face. I used to be a criminal when I was younger. Not always the case, but in my case it is. Sometimes I will tell people that to stop them from being annoyed with my tattoos, and then with so much confidence, they'll just tell me, "No, you weren't a criminal. Listen, I've seen The Wire and Sons of Anarchy, and you were not." They're like experts now. It's incredible. I spent the entire first part of my life only wanting respect from the scariest people you can imagine. And now I'm on Facebook arguing with a 40-year-old woman named Joy. And she's just like, I bet you've never even stabbed anybody. What? It's like, I've stabbed 2 people in my life. She's just like, not even 3. I bet they both survived. Oh my gosh. These are the same people who do stuff. They'll be like, aren't you worried about how you're gonna look when you're older? Look at all that. Aren't you worried about how you're gonna look when you're older? It's just like, okay, well, you're wearing dress socks with jean shorts. Why don't you worry about how you look right now? How about that? Yeah. Oh man. I've been traveling a lot. I've been all over. Recently, I was in the South and I was at a Denny's. I was minding my own business. And I looked over and there's like a claw machine, like one of those giant claw machines you see, you know? And I was like, oh man. And then there was a lady in front of the claw machine. Okay, it was a big one where you win giant prizes, and she was crying. And I was like, wow, that seems like an overreaction to losing that game. And my friends were like, no, you idiot, look. And I paid more attention, and then she was crying because her toddler had crawled into the machine. And he was stuck inside of it. And she was like, come out for mommy. And he was like, I live here now. I have all the prizes. Why would I ever leave? So she's hysterical. And she's just like, someone call 911, like someone call the police. And I'm just like, what? Don't waste public resources, lady. Now is your time. Win him back. Let's go. Right? The stakes have never been higher. Let's do it. I was just like, listen, I have $5. I can claw your baby. Let me try. I can get him. I can get him. She did not think it was as funny as you guys did. So they called the police or whatever, and they brought the fire department, and they took the machine apart and got the kid out. And she was very snooty about the whole thing. But I was like, how funny would that have been if just some big Italian firefighter showed up, and she was like, what, are you gonna use the jaws of life to save my baby? And he's like, I have 10 ones, let's do it! Cut to 40 minutes later, he's like, I'm out of money. I am so sorry for your loss. Will you take a life-size Sonic the Hedgehog instead? It's good to be back here in the West. I live in New York now. I came back here for this and to visit my family often. It's also, there's different challenges being here than in the city. Like, for instance, recently while I was here, I hit a deer with my car. Yeah, but it's not what you guys think, okay? I did it completely on purpose. Now, how that happened was, I was driving, minding my own business, and I'm going down the street, and I looked over, and I saw a dog and a deer in a parking lot together, okay? And I was like, oh, they're friends, like in Disney. But I was wrong. They were not friends, they were enemies, and they were fighting pretty hard, okay? All right, I didn't even know, the deer was hooving the dog. I didn't even know they did that, all right? And the dog hated it, so the dog goes running away from the deer to escape. And the dog comes running across the street, I'm driving down, and the deer comes chasing after the dog, and I had a decision to make. Yeah. Listen, it was an Australian Shepherd, okay? It's crunch time. I hit that deer so hard with my car. I swerved and everything. Listen, I hit that deer like my stepdad was riding it. Do you understand? Yeah. That is what I like, a crowd that is not a fan of my stepfather. Nobody likes you, Joe. I shouldn't use his real name, but whatever. So, by the way, I should not say this, but you guys seem cool, so I'm gonna say it anyway. Feels so good to hit something that big with your car. It was awesome. Yes. Listen, I didn't want to have to do it, but if I'm gonna do it, it might as well be cool. Dude, I don't know. It felt cool to hit something that big. I get what old people are up to in farmers markets. I get it. I understand. Now when I'm on the couch and I'm watching the news and they're like, an elderly gentleman ran over 6 people and slammed his car into Best Buy today. I'm just sitting there like, live your best life, Grandpa. Get in there. Yeah. You didn't fight in World War II not to hit someone with your car. Get it. So, listen, I feel some of you in the audience being worried about the deer, and that's fair. But don't be, okay? The deer is fine. I drive a 2001 Saturn. The deer is fine, okay? Yeah. It seems like you guys might know a thing or two about cars. That is not a good car. Yeah. My car is so bad that when I bought it, I parked it on the street, and that night I assumed some kids spray painted the word "wow" on the side of it. And I did not care, okay? Yeah. So, I'm in my 2001 Saturn, the dog runs past, the deer is coming, I slam on the gas, I gave it everything I had. All that happened, okay, was the deer rolled up onto the side of my, hood on his side, rolled back onto his hooves, and then just looked at me like, what was that about, man? And I'm just in my car, awkward, like, I'm trying to kill you! The deer just is like, I don't need this, and it left to go do deer stuff or whatever. So the deer is gone, I'm sitting in my car, I can't believe this just happened, and I realize the dog is nowhere to be found. The dog escaped. Yes, I'm an American hero. Yeah. I deserve this! I know, it's like the troops, then me, then firefighters. I'm feeling very good. This is literally the most on board anyone has ever been for that premise. I used to put myself above the troops even as a joke. People were like, pull it back. You gotta be mine. So, I'm feeling good. I'm in the street. I just hit a deer with my car. I'm a good person. I'm feeling great. I'm jazzed up. I'm pumped up on adrenaline. I just can't believe that happened. I'm dancing in my car. I'm like, oh, it was crazy. And I look over and I see a family. They're wearing their Sunday best, like a mom and a dad, and they're pushing a baby stroller down the sidewalk. And I was like, oh, they probably saw everything. They definitely want to talk to me. So I do a U-turn. I pull up to them. Have you ever seen a guy pick up a baby stroller to get away from you faster? Yeah. I'm just in my car like, what is this guy's problem? And then I realize, oh no, they have no context for what just happened. They probably didn't even see the dog. They just see some guy in the middle of the city with his face covered in tattoos, driving the world's worst car, just clobber a deer for no reason. Then that guy sits in the street and thinks about it for a while. Spots your family. Does a U-turn, revealing the fact that he has the word "wow" spray painted on the side of his car, struggles to get his window down because he drives a 2001 Saturn. And then he looks out at your wife and kid and just goes, I'm a hero! He left so fast. He left his wife. He did not care. Hustling. Oh, man. I've been traveling a ton this year for comedy, which has been great. I went to two places in particular. I went to Austin and Portland. Both places, no, hold on. Either way, you're wrong. If you see me before and I bring up a place, I will say nothing good about that place. I'm not here to be like, they were great and moving on. No, so I went to Austin and Portland, and they're not so bad. But here is the thing. Austin and Portland, both cities where their whole motto is keep it weird. And we're weird, And I showed up, and I'm like, I'm a weird guy. I love weird stuff. I cannot wait to see what I'm going to see. Nothing weird at all, okay? I'm talking to people like, when does the weird happen? And they're like, it's around. It wasn't. There's nothing weird happening in either of those places. I was like, you guys the bar has to be higher. I live in New York. Once on the subway, I saw a guy, and this is real, only wearing the top half of a SpongeBob costume, okay? Yeah, and what was he doing, you ask? He was wrestling another man, okay, who clearly didn't know him. That guy he was wrestling was just yelling out over and over again. He goes, Sponge Bill, no! Yeah. But no one on the train was helping. There's everyone watching like he seems like he has it under control. So if you're gonna be weird, you gotta step it up. Also, how dare Austin and Portland keep it weird how dare they act like they're weird when they know Florida exists? Yeah, and it's just out there doing what Florida does. Last time I was in Florida, this is real. By the way, this is Googleable information after the show. I'm in Florida. I'm walking past a newspaper stand. I look into the stand. The headline on the newspaper reads, local man robs Wendy's with alligator. What did you just say to me? I read it, I still said that out loud. It was incredible. Oh, and also, oh yeah, that's all you want to say? You don't want to add any more to that? Like, I don't know, maybe tell us if the alligator was an accomplice or a weapon? How about that? For real. Did this guy rob a Wendy's with an alligator, or did this guy rob a Wendy's with an alligator? There's a huge difference. Did he start a gang with an alligator, throw a bandana on it? He's like, we're the Alligator Boys now. Let's get to a Wendy's and make this official. No. So, this is how, I bought the paper and I read the article, and this is real. He used the alligator as a weapon, okay? And when I read that, I was like, did he at least hold it like a gun? Right? He didn't. He threw it through a drive-through window. Yep. Didn't see that one coming, did ya? You know who else did it? The lady at the drive-thru. So many things have to happen before you can even throw an alligator. You have to find it in the wild? Also, by the way, how horrible is Florida that there is just alligators available to you? What was even his qualifying material? Was he looking for a specific type? Or did he just, the first one he saw, he was like, this is the one, and he took it? That was it? So this is real. This happened in Florida, a place connected to the United States. where we are all living currently. A grown man with a driver's license found an alligator that day. He didn't even build a relationship with it. He takes his new alligator and he seatbelts it into the backseat of his car. I assume. I just have no idea how else you keep it from getting into the front seat and biting you, right? I don't know if you guys know anything about alligators, but they kind of just do whatever they want. So he seatbelts this dinosaur into the back seat. And then he gets into the front seat and he's like, I gotta make some money today. Stared at the wheel. I could get a job. And he goes, no time. Spent most of my day on that alligator thing. Projects. I could rob someone. And he goes, I could rob a place. Those places have more money than someone's. Rob a bank. And he goes, no. They'll be expecting that. Just thinking about it. And then he comes to the conclusion, Wendy's. They have money and chili. That's the place. So he drives his new alligator to Wendy's, okay? Pulls up to the drive-thru, and the lady at the drive-thru is like, hello, how can I help you today? And he goes, give me all the money. And she just looks right at him and goes, no. You didn't even come inside? You failed at this robbery. And the dude is so mad. He goes, give me the money in the register or I'll kill you. And she's from Florida, so she's not afraid of death or whatever. She looks down at him and she's like, no, if you had a gun, you would have shown it to me already. I call your bluff. Get out of here, crazy guy. Go. And he's seething mad at this point, furious. And he's like, you know what? I don't have a gun, but hold on. Yeah. And then he palmed an alligator through the drive-thru window. Yup. He skipped so many steps in that robbery. If he had a list of things he was supposed to do, he would have thrown the alligator, looked down, and just been like, oh no! I was supposed to threaten her with the alligator first. By the way, can you imagine being her? Just telling this guy off, and he's like, you know what, I don't have a gun. And you're like, wow, nailed it. Really doing it today. And then he leans back and starts unbuckling the world's ugliest toddler. Like, hey, someone come and see this, is wild. And then you look back and an alligator is flying. Imagine being the car behind him. Sitting there with your girlfriend. Like, what takes so long to make burgers here? She's on her phone, you're like, do you even care? You look back from her, and then an alligator soars from window to window. Honey, get off your phone, they're throwing alligators into Wendy's. This guy is crazy. She's on her phone like, that doesn't make sense. They don't even serve alligators here. What? Why am I with you? So, this dude is sitting there, awkwardly, with no more alligators left to play in the robbery. Probably thinking to himself, you think if I ask for my alligator back? Such a bad idea to throw it. He didn't even put a fanny pack on it. Like, maybe get some money while you're in there? I don't know. So, he drives off. Yeah, and he gets arrested immediately. He didn't even wear a mask. Yeah, he was like, I'm in Florida. People throw alligators. I'll probably get lost in the shuffle. No, he didn't. They remembered him. They arrested him pretty hard afterwards. The end of the article is true. It goes, no one was injured. The alligator was safely released back into the wild. And at the very end of the article, it read, no drug involvement suspected. Oh yeah, Florida? That was your sober plan? What does the non-sober plan look like? Do you ride a horse and the alligator throws you? What happens? I make fun of Alligator Guy like I have my life together, but I don't. There's no easy way to say this, but my life, it's not together. My personal life isn't as good as you think it might be. And some of you are like, Shayne, your life has to be going well. Look at you on stage. Yeah, I'm living my dreams and that's nice. But also my personal life tatters. Let me tell you, okay? There's no easy way to say this, so I'm just gonna open up and say it, okay? I am 32 years old, and I pooped my pants recently, okay? Yep. Not supposed to do that. I don't like the way some of you are laughing, by the way. I'd be like, you guys, just to clarify, I didn't just do it like, I wasn't just like watching Batman like, oh, this movie is good, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like, I didn't poop my pants freestyle for the love of the game. I had a reason. Here's what happened, okay? I had food poisoning. Yeah, it could happen to anybody. I had food poisoning. I was parallel parking my car. That's not a part of this. That's mostly a humble brag. But I can parallel park my car. So, I'm parking my car at food poisoning, and I coughed. Yep. And it happened to me. I pooped my pants. Listen, you know how sometimes you fart and you're like, that was pretty gross, but I'm okay. Not that one. Nope. I pooped my pants so fast and so hard, it was like somebody else pooped my pants. It was incredible. By the way, didn't even know that was one of the options when you cough. What? That can happen? I've been pooping my pants for 32 years. Did I say pooping my pants? I meant coughing. Cut that one. Cut that in post, everybody. We're going to cut that one out. Okay. Listen. You guys don't know my life. I've been coughing for 32 years. Not once ever, after coughing for 32 years, had I ever been like, whoa! What was that? One of my friends was like, what just happened? I was like, I coughed, I almost pooped my pants. He's like, yeah, that can happen. Gotta watch out for those. Not once ever. Like, the cough waited 32 years and then betrayed me. Like, once I was in 9th grade and I was giving a talk in front of the class and I coughed and my body was like, do we do it now? And then puberty was like, no, we will embarrass him. You hold back, wait 20 years, then take him out right before he has to do comedy. Yeah, I was parking at a comedy club. It was worst case. So I get out of my car. I can't get back into it. It's not one of those. And I was like, what do I do? And I was like, my first plan was to buy the pants off of a homeless guy. But they are never there when you need them, the homeless. My second plan was to buy the shirt off of a guy wearing 2 shirts. But here's the thing, if you try and buy the shirt off of a guy wearing 2 shirts and you tell him you need it because you pooped your pants, he will run from you. So, I was gonna wear it like I don't know what I thought. Anyway, so I look across the street and there's like a mall, and I was like, I gotta get over there. So I waddle over, you know? Yeah, it's a shameful walk. People can tell, they can. A kid tries to talk to me and his dad is like, get away from him. And his kid is like, because of how he looks? And he's like, no, other things, go. Get away. So, I get into the first clothing store I can get into. And the guy working there is like, hello, how can we help you today? I was like, come here right now. And he's like, oh, what's going on? What is it? And I was like, here's the deal, man. I have fully pooped my pants. And he just goes, excuse me? It's like, am I stuttering right now? Daniel, okay? I need you on TV right, there's no time. Do they not train you for this? He's like, what do I do? I was like, go get me a pair of jeans this second. So he runs off and he comes back and he goes, I have mediums and I have larges. And I was like, give me the mediums. And then he looks right at me and he goes, do you want to try those on? It's like, do you think this is a game, Daniel? I need the key to your employee bathroom and an undisclosed amount of time, man. How many times are you gonna make me say it? I have pooped my pants. In a weird twist of fate, I am wearing those pants currently. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.